Good evening, everyone. This is one more session with respect to this module, Linux System Programming. In this session, we need to start working on the concept called libraries. So before starting with the today's session, if my voice is clear and able to see the screen properly, please type 1 in the chat box. If my voice is clear as well as able to see the screen properly, please type 1 in the chat box. Okay, thank you very much. If you're able to recollect, what is the discussion happened from the last two sessions? In the last two sessions, we're trying to understand the concept called function pointer, which will help us in a future discussions. Very simple way if you think about it, how integer pointer is there, how the character pointer is there. In a similar way, we can declare one pointer which can point to a function. That is a function pointer. So how to declare a function pointer, how to store the address of a function in the function pointer, how to call the function through function pointer, and how to pass a function address to another function, how to return a function address from another function, and array of function pointers, such type of discussion. From the last two sessions, we discussed it. So using the type def, how to simplify the declarations, that we discussed it. So today, we need to start with entirely the new concept that is called libraries. Again, today we need to start with entirely the new concept that is called libraries. Will you agree? The building blocks of the C program is a functions. If S, type 2 in the chat box. The building blocks of the C program is a functions. Without a functions, you cannot write a C program. So if I ask you what is a function, the definition of function is very simple. Function is nothing but a block where the code is written. If I ask you what is a function, function is nothing but a block where the code is written. If I ask you what are the benefits of the function, benefits of the function is divide and conquer. Means we can divide the bigger task into small tasks so that implementation becomes an easy. Again, if I ask you what is the benefits of the function, divide and conquer. And second benefit is, can I say, reusability. Second benefit is reusability. Reusability means the functions which is already there, we can use it. We can implement a new functions, new logics, new tasks. Is it clear? So repetition of code can be reduced. Multiple times writing the same code, instead of that, we can go for design a function. So simply we need to call it. So I hope you might have remembered there are two types of functions will be there. One is predefined functions and another one is user defined functions. Will you agree? Type 3 in the chat box if you agree with this statement. There are two types of functions. One is predefined functions and another one is user defined functions. Predefined means, can I say, predefined means compiler supported functions. Predefined means, can I say, library functions. Will you agree? Predefined functions is nothing but compiler supported functions. Predefined functions is a library functions. Now tell me, who designed these functions? Predefined functions, who designed? Who designed? Can I say somebody else designed it? Somebody else designed it. We are using it. Again, will you agree? Somebody else is designed it. Compiler designers, they designed it. We are using it. Will you agree? The predefined functions, compiler designers, they designed it. We are using it. Predefined functions, can I call another name that is a library functions? Predefined functions, can I call another name compiler supported functions as well as library functions? I hope all of you might have remembered So predefined function declarations are present in a header file. I hope all of you might have remembered predefined function declarations are present in a header file. Definitions are present in the library. Predefined function declarations are present in a header file. Definitions are present in the library. And also, I hope all of you might have able to recollect in a compilation stages, first stage is the preprocessor, second stage is the translator, third stage is the assembler, fourth stage is the, what is the fourth stage? Can I say linker? I hope all of you might have remembered linker is responsible for linking with the libraries. It will generate executable file. Now after the assembler, can you tell me what is the file you will get? .o file, object file. Will you agree? After the assembler, whatever the file you are going to get, that is called a .o file, object file. And linker, what it will do? Linker will link with its libraries and it will generate an executable file. In this library, can I say predefined function definitions will be there. In this library, predefined function definitions will be there. So next 2-3 sessions, we are going to focus on this concept. Again, next 2 to 3 sessions, we are going to discuss about the concept called, libraries. Instead of existing library, apart from discussing about the existing library, we are going to create our own libraries also. In the next 2-3 sessions, we are going to create our own libraries also. If this what we are going to discuss in the next 2 sessions, if it is clear, type 4 in the chat box. What we are going to discuss before starting with an operating system concepts. As I told you, the first day of this module, before starting with an operating system concepts, some concepts you should know before that. Those are, one is a function pointer and another one is a library. So today we need to talk about library, next 2-3 sessions also. So first you need to understand what is a library. Will you agree? In your schools or in your colleges or somewhere, libraries will be there, where that library is a collection of books. Will you agree? That library is a collection of books. Now here, with respect to computer terminology, library is a collection of predefined functions. Again, library is a collection of predefined functions. Just a minute. I'm going to pause this share. Library is a collection of, what is it? It is a collection of predefined functions. It is a collection of, all of you note it down, it is a collection of predefined functions. Predefined means, can I say, predefined means, can I say, compiler supported functions. Predefined means, can I say, compiler supported functions. So library is nothing but very simple. There is a place, all the library is nothing but there is one place, all the function definitions kept together. Again, library is nothing but all the function definitions kept together. All of you are observing this file. Library is a collection of predefined functions. Library consists of pre-compiled code in the form of object files. Library is a collection of predefined functions. Library is a pre-compiled. Pre-compiled means, can I say already compiled code? Pre-compiled means, will you agree? Already compiled code in the form of object file. Pre-compiled means already compiled code which is in the form of object files. The predefined functions in library are compiler supported functions. All are present in the predefined functions are present in the library. So library, you can say two definitions. It is a collection of predefined functions. Library, it is a collection of object files. It is a pre-compiled code. If you see this diagram already, you know. So from the assembler, you will get .o file. That .o file, object file, libraries, linker will link. It will generate one executable. It will generate one executable file. So there are two types of libraries will be there. One is static library and another one is dynamic library. There are two types of libraries will be there. One is a static library, another one is dynamic library. First, what I will do is I'll list out the points about the static and dynamic. Afterwards, we'll discuss each point one by one. Again, first what I will do, I'll list out some points. When I'm listing the points, you may get a new terms. So no need to worry about those terms. One by one, we'll discuss it. Is it clear? First, I'm going to list out the points with respect to static and dynamic library. There are two types of libraries will be there. So first I list out, after that we'll discuss each and every point. Static library helps in static linking also called as binding. Static library helps in static linking. All of you are observing, you might have observing the new point called linking or binding. Yes or no? Static libraries helps in static linking. What is the linking? What is the binding? All these things we'll discuss it. What is the linking? What is how many types of linkings will be there? All these things one by one we'll discuss it. So static library helps in static linking. Whereas dynamic library, you can easily guess. Dynamic library helps in dynamic linking. Dynamic library helps in dynamic linking. Dynamic linking, there are two types will be there. One is dynamic load time linking and another one is dynamic runtime linking. Again, dynamic libraries helps in dynamic linking, dynamic load time linking and dynamic runtime linking. All these points step by step in detail we'll discuss it. Don't be panic now, don't be worried now. So static libraries helps in static linking, dynamic libraries helps in dynamic linking. Dynamic, there are two types of linkings again, dynamic load time linking and another one is dynamic runtime linking. Second point about the static library is it is also called as archive file. ARCHIVE, archive or archive file. Again, another name for the static library. It is an archive file, or we can call as a archive file. Another name for the dynamic library. It is also called as shared object. Another name for the dynamic library, it is also called as shared object. I hope some of you might have heard about DLL files. I hope in a what you call Windows operating system, it is called DLL files. In a Linux, it is called as a shared object. Again, static library, it also called as an archive file, archive file. Dynamic library, also called as a shared object or DLL files. Next point is static library. Extension of static library is extension of static library is .a extension. Again, extension for a static library is a .a extension, whereas extension for dynamic library, extension for dynamic library is .so or .dll. Again, extension of a static library is .a extension. Extension of a static library is a .a extension. Extension of a dynamic library is .so or .dll. Fourth point, example for static library is libc.a, libm.a, libabc.a. Three examples I written here: libc.a, libm.a, libabc.a. In these three examples, in this library, all the C functions are there. Printf, scanf, whatever the C functions are there, malloc, calloc, strlen, strcpy, whatever the C functions, fopen, fprintf, fscanf, all the functions are present, definitions are present here. libc.a. libm.a, it is a math related function definitions. Again, libm.a, it is a math related library, all the math related functions. Like, have you heard about one function called sqrt? Have you heard about? You can open the man page and sqrt. So all the math related functions are present in the libm.a. Square root, correct? All the math related functions are present are in a libm.a. Can you tell me what is this? Maybe in a today or tomorrow session, we are going to create our own library. Again, maybe in a tomorrow or today session, we are going to create our own library. So whatever the examples I written for static library, whatever the examples I written in this, two libraries are already existing libraries. Third one is we are going to create it. If this point is clear, type 4 in the chat box. If this point is clear, type 4 in the chat box. So static libraries extension is a .a. So examples: libc.a, libm.a, libabc.a. Every library must and should start with a name called lib. Again, libc.a contains all the C function definitions, BE9A2. Got the point? libc.a contains all the C function definitions, and all the library names should start with lib. Hmm? All the library names, that is the process, that is a syntax. So let's write an example for the dynamic library. Let's write an example for the dynamic library. Example, libc.so, libm.so. 3 examples I am writing here also. libmno.so. Can you guess, in these 3 libraries, first 2 libraries are already existing? In these 3, will you agree, first 2 libraries are already existing? First 2 libraries already existing. libc.so contains, can you tell me what is that libc.so contains? Can I say libc.so contains all the printf, scanf function definitions, C related function definitions. libm.so contains math related definitions. libmno.so, is it existing library or we are going to create? Is this existing library or we are going to create? Will you agree? We are going to create it. There are simple steps will be there. We'll discuss that steps and all other things to create a libraries. Now, have you got one point? Have you got one point? Printf function definition is available in this library as well as in this library. Scanf function definition is also present in this static library, in this dynamic library, and strlen here also there, here also there. So every C function definitions are present in 2 places. One is a static library and another one is a dynamic library. Why like this? Don't worry right now. Our compiler is supporting, our GCC compiler is supporting one static C library. Our compiler is supporting one dynamic C library. Is this point is clear? Type 5 in the chat box. Our C compiler, GCC compiler is supporting one static C library. Our GCC compiler is supporting one dynamic C library. Okay. 5th point is, if linker is linking with static library, if the linker is linking with static library, linker will copy necessary function definitions in a.out file. Again, if linker is linking with static library, it will copy the required function definitions in executable file. Required function means, necessary functions means the functions which we are calling in our source code. Again, if the linker is linking with static library, linker will copy necessary function definitions. Necessary means the functions which we are calling in the source code. Those function definitions are copied into the executable file. Those function definitions are copied into that executable file. Now, whereas if linker is linking with dynamic library, whereas if linker is linking with dynamic library, it will not copy the function definitions. Again, If the linker is linking with dynamic library, it will not copy the function definitions. It will copy only references. It will copy only references. References means some addresses. Again, if the linker is linking with dynamic library, it will not copy the necessary function definitions. It will copy only the references. I'll show you that with one example. It will be more clear here. With diagrammatically, if I show you, it will be more clear. Suppose this is the linker. Suppose this is the linker. This is a .o file. This is a .o file. This is a .o file. This is a .a file. This is a .so file. And this is one executable file. This is one executable file. BE9S4 is asking one question. Sir, please explain the difference between the preprocessor inclusion header file and linker. See, S4 header file contains only the declarations. It will not contain the definitions. BE9S4 will accept this statement. BE9S4 will accept this statement. Header file contains only the declarations. Okay, and definitions are present in the library. Now got the difference? Header files are included by the preprocessor. Libraries are linked by the linker. Is it point is clear? Is that point is clear? Yeah. So now observe where I'm talking about a linker stage. Now can you tell me here in this case, left hand side, linker is linking with which library? Linker is linking with which library? Static library. So what happens? Can I say whatever the function definitions are there, all the definitions are copied in this executable file. Again, what is the property of the linker? If it is linking with a static library, all the function definitions, necessary function definitions. Now can you tell me from which stage you will get this .o file? From which stage you will get this .o file? Assembler. Can I say in this .o file main function should be there? In this .o file main function should be there. So in this .o file, whatever the functions we are calling, if those functions are present in the static library, linker will copy the definitions also into this. Linker will copy the definitions into this. If you got this point, type 2 in the chat box. I'm talking about a static library. If linker is linking with a static library, linker will copy the necessary function definitions. Means the functions which we are calling in our source code, those function definitions, it will copy into that executable file. I'm not talking about a user defined. I'm talking about a predefined. Library means a predefined. I'm not talking about a user defined. I'm talking about a predefined. Got the point? BE91. User defined functions, anyway, it is present in the user defined functions. Anyway, it is present in the .o file only. No need to separately copy. Anyway, in the here only it is copied. But I'm talking about the library functions. Getting the point? If suppose linker is linking with a static library, linker will copy the function definitions into this executable file. In this case, if a linker is linking with a dynamic library, will it copy the function definitions into this executable file? In this case, if the linker is linking with a dynamic library, will it copy the function definitions into that executable file? Answer is no. Just only references it will copy. Just only addresses where it is present, it will copy. Now, can you guess? Logically, can you think and tell me in which case the size of executable file will be more? Can you tell me in which case size of executable file will be more? Can I say in a static library case? Will you agree? In a static library case, size of executable file will be more compared to the dynamic library case. In a static library case, the size of executable file will be more compared to the dynamic library case. If I accept this statement, type 1 in the chat box. If I accept this statement, type 1 in the chat box. Okay. In which case that executable file doesn't require any dependencies while executing? In which case that executable file is not required any dependencies while executing? Can I say in a static library case? Why? Because everything is in a linker stage only copied into this executable file. This executable file is not required any dependency libraries while executing. Again, in a static library case, because all the necessary function definitions are copied into that executable file, so this executable file doesn't require any dependency libraries when this program is loaded into the RAM for execution. But can I say this executable file required dependencies when my program is executing in the RAM? P2 executable file required some dependencies while executing in the RAM. If I accept this point, type 2 in the chat box. If I accept this point, type 2 in the chat box. Can you tell me why this executable file required dependencies? Can you tell me why this executable file required dependencies? Answer is because the linker is not copied the definitions here, only references it is copied. When this program is loaded into the RAM, this library also must and should be loaded into the RAM. Will you agree? When the executable file is loaded into the RAM, so the dependency libraries are also loaded into the RAM. Any doubt in this particular point, please let me know. So once again, I'll repeat it. If linker is linking with static library, linker will copy necessary function definitions into the a.out, into the executable file, so that the size of the file becomes more. If linker is linking with dynamic library, it will not copy the function definitions into that executable file, so that the size of the file is less. Will you agree? In this case, the size of the executable file is less. In this case, the size of an executable file is less. Will you accept this statement? Type 3 in the chat box. Size of an executable file is less. But this executable file required some dependency libraries while executing. Will you agree? That executable file required some dependency libraries while executing. Now the question arises, if these points are clear, if this point is clear, type 5 in the chat box. If the point is clear, type 5 in the chat box. Okay. Now the question arises, sir, from the day one onwards of the C program, we are compiling the program like this. From the day one onwards of the C program, we are compiling the program like this. Will you agree? So now the discussion is, will the compiler default links with a dynamic library or static library? Just now I told you all our C function definitions are present in a two places. One is a static library and also one is a dynamic library. Will you agree? One is a static library and also one is a dynamic library. Now the discussion is, when we compile the program like this, will the linker links with a static C library, or will the linker links with a dynamic C library? We need to discuss it. Again, we need to discuss, will the linker links with a static C library, or will the linker links with a dynamic C library? We need to conclude it with this discussion. Now observe 1808 underscore 1 dots. Just a minute. stdio.h void main printf, just a minute, int I is equals to 10, printf hello world, I is equals to percentile d slash n comma I. Now here we are not worried about the output. Definitely I value is 10, right? Our focus is not on the output what we are going to get. Again, our focus is not on the output what we are going to get. Our focus is, when I compile this cc, when I compile this cc -o abc, can I create one separate file called abc? Can I create one separate executable file name as abc? Yes. So will you agree, till now we might have compiled the programs like this, maybe this or may not be this, that depends upon your requirement. Will you agree? From the day one onwards of the hello world program, we compiled like this. If want separate executable file, -o executable file name. If I don't want separate executable file, simply cc source code name. Just a minute. Will you agree? I got an executable file abc. I got an executable file called abc. One more thing I need to tell you, we can compile the code with -static option. We can compile the code with the -static option. Again, till now we didn't use this option, but there is an option called -static, cc-static -o def. Will you agree? Till now, how many programs we compiled, we didn't use this -static. Till now, how many programs we compiled, we didn't use this -static. So, but there is one option called -static. Now I hope you can guess, when you compile the program like this, when you compile the program like this, default linker links with, when you compile the program like this, default linker links with dynamic C library, dynamic libraries. If you want to inform to the linker links with static library, if you want to inform to the linker links with static library, you need to use -static option. Again, if you want to inform to the linker links with static library, you need to use -static option. You may get a doubt, sir, both executable files outputs are same. Answer is yes, both outputs are same. Observe /abc /def, both outputs are same. But observe size abc, size def. Can I say which executable file size is more? Size is one command which will tell you text section, data section, BSS, uninitialized data section sizes. Text section means code section. I don't know you know it or not. Whenever your program is compiled, whenever a.out file is created, your a.out mainly contains the two portions. One is the data and another one is the code. Again, when compiler is created an executable file, so that executable file contains mainly two memory sections. That executable file contains mainly two memory sections. What are those? One is data section and another one is text section. BSS means block started by symbols. That is also part of the data section. Uninitialized data section. All of you are getting the point? Type 1 in the chat box. Whenever you compile the code, whenever the compiler is created an executable file, that executable file contains two memory sections. One is data section, another one is a code section. When your program is loaded into the RAM, will you agree? When this a.out file is loaded into the RAM, two more sections are allocated. Able to recollect? When your a.out program is loaded into the RAM, apart from the data section and code section, text section, data section and code section, stack section and heap section is allocated. If I accept this statement, type 2 in the chat box. So now you tell me, which code section size is more? These are in the form of the bytes. Which code section, when you use hyphen static, can I say DEF code section size is more? Entirely. Executable file size is more. Can you link with? Why? Because just now I told you. Why? Because if the linker is linking with a static library, all the necessary function definitions it will copy into that executable file. If the linker is linking with a static library, will you agree? The necessary function definitions are copied into that executable file. That is the reason the size of the file is becoming more. Now can you tell me, in these two executable files, which executable file required some dependency libraries while executing? In these two executable files, which executable file required some libraries when it is loading into the RAM for execution? Can I say ABC? Will you agree? Again, in these two cases, one executable file, this doesn't require any libraries. Why? Because at the compile time only, everything is accumulated, everything is stored into this executable file. So it doesn't require any libraries while executing. Whereas here, whereas this it required some dependency libraries. One of the big question came interview point of, I don't know the student why it is thinking about an interview. No, sir, I had an interview with Harman. They asked about without main can I write a C program? Answer, and my answer was it will compile but not execute. But I struggled to explain my answer. What will be the meaning of A6? You are talking about irrelevant question now. Anyway, you asked, I will tell you. So there is one option called CC hyphen no start files. There is one option called, some of the compilers will support CC hyphen no start file. So in your C program, if main is not there also, you can compile it. You can run it also. Got the point? K6 is asking one question. The question is, one of the company they asked, can we write a C program without a main? Answer is, diplomatic answer you need to say, yes, we can write it, but while compiling, we need to use hyphen. While compiling, we need to use hyphen no start files. In this Windows environment, in this Windows, I cannot show you, but you can check it out, pure Ubuntu or Cocalc somewhere. No start files. That's what, when I'm talking about a preprocessor also, I might have told you, interview some tricky questions they will ask. Can you write a C program which contains the two main functions? Can you write a C program which contains the two main functions? Answer is yes. But we need to inform to the preprocessor which main should be further processed. Otherwise, in a translator, you will get an error. So please, any things are there, you can mail it. So topics is little bit diversion if that type of questions comes. Okay. Now observe, when you use hyphen static option, when we use hyphen static option, can I say in this file, all the definitions will be there. But if you don't use hyphen static, default linker links with dynamic C library. So can I say from the day one onwards, whatever the programs we compiled, linker is linking with dynamic library. Will you agree? Linker is linking with dynamic library. If you want to inform to the linker to link with static library, you need to use hyphen static option. If you want to link with static library, you need to use hyphen static option. Now, can you tell me, in these two executable files, which executable file needs some dependencies while executing? In these two executable files, which executable file needs some dependencies while executing? Can I say ABC is required some dependencies while executing? Will you agree? ABC need some dependency libraries while executing. So you may get a doubt, sir, how can I check which dependency libraries it required? For that, there is a command called LDD executable file name. There is a command called LDD and executable file name. So what is that LDD command will do? LDD command will display list of dependency libraries that file required while executing. Again, what is that LDD command will do? It display list of libraries that a.out file required while executing. Is it clear? LDD display the list of dependency libraries. Correct time point is list of dependency libraries that executable file required while executing. Now observe. So can you tell me, when this ABC is executing, can I say these are the three libraries it required? First one and the last one is the operating system related library. Second one is a C library. I don't know, you able to recollect it or not. When I'm started with a C program, I might have used one term, raw code and executable code. Able to recollect? Raw code and executable code. Raw code is a code without operating system, it will execute. Executable code is a code on the top of an operating system only, it will execute. In an executable code, operating system information should be loaded by the linker. So these are the two OS related libraries, operating system related libraries, and this is the libc.so. Yes, native compilers creates an executable file, not supports. Native compilers creates an executable file. Native compilers creates an executable file. Now tell me, this ABC file need these three libraries, dependency libraries while executing. This ABC file required three three dependency libraries while executing. Whereas when I type LDD DEF, observe, not a dynamic executable. LDD DEF, it is showing that not a dynamic executable. Now I need to tell you one point here. Executable files are two categories again. I need to tell you one point. Executable files are two types. Executable files are two types. One is statically linked executable file and another one is dynamically linked DYNA. Dynamically linked executable file. Again, there are two types of executable files will be there. One is statically linked executable file and another one is a dynamically linked executable file. Is it clear? Now can I say here which is a statically linked executable file? ABC or DEF? Which is a statically linked executable file? DEF. Which is a dynamically linked executable file? Which is a dynamically linked executable file? ABC. Which executable file required dependency libraries? Which executable file required dependency libraries while executing? Static or dynamic? Which executable file required dependency libraries while executing? Is it a static or is it a dynamic? Answer is a dynamic. Can I say when your program is loaded into the RAM, when your ABC file is loaded into the RAM, apart from ABC file, without knowing you, these libraries are also loaded into the RAM for execution? These are the dependency libraries. But can you tell me when DEF is loaded into the RAM, any dependencies are loaded? When DEF is loading into the RAM, is the loader will load any dependencies? Here I need to tell you one point. Linker and loader, these two are operating system related units. Again, the linker and loader is not a part of the compiler unit. It is an operating system related unit. So linker will link and it will create an executable file. What is a loader job? Can you tell me when I write /a.out enter button, what happens? Can you tell me /a.out enter button? Can you guess what happens? Can I say normally we'll say, generally we'll say our program is loaded into the RAM. Who will load? Normally, generally we'll talk, generally we'll say our program is loaded into the RAM. On that day I might have told you operating system, but now I need to say it is a job of loader, which is a part of the OS. Now tell me, when you type /abc, when you type /abc, when the loader is loading your program into the RAM, loader will load these libraries also. When you write /abc, when the loader is loading your program into the RAM, can I say loader will load these files also? Whereas /def, whereas when I type /def, will the loader loads only this def or this libraries also? When you type /def, will the loader loads only? Will the loader load only your def or this libraries also? Only this def. Why? Because it is a statically linked executable file. DEF is a statically linked executable file. It is not a dynamically linked executable. Will you agree? It is a statically linked executable file. It is not a dynamically linked executable file. So all of you are observing the differences in the size. All of you are observing the differences in the size. One more more interesting thing I need to tell you. I'll type this commands in the chat here. Just a minute. In this, just close this. Just a minute. Give me 1 minute of time. At one side, cc dot c hyphen o abc. At another side, cc dot c system. At another side, cc hyphen static dot c hyphen o def. All of you are observing this. Now, can you tell me, when it comes to the linker stage here, this .o file, linker links with which libraries? Can you tell me, in this case, linker links with dynamic libraries and it will create ABC file. All of you copy this. In this case, linker.o file, linker links with, because I used static, linker links with, because I used static, can I say .a file, and it will create def. All of you copy these two diagrams in your notes. All of you copy these two diagrams in your notes. If copying is done, type C in the chat box. Left hand side, linker is linking with a dynamic library. Right hand side, linker is linking with static library. If you want to inform to the linker links with a static library, you need to use hyphen static option. Now, can you tell me, in which executable file main function definition will be there? In which executable file main function definition will be there? Answer is, in both main function definitions will be there. Because main is not a library function, it is in this .o file, it is there. So definitely it is copied. Can you tell me, here printf function definition is there or not? Here printf function definition is there or not? Can you tell me, in a dynamic library case, printf function definition will be available in this ABC or not? In a dynamic library case, printf function definition is available or not? No. Here in a DEF case, in a DEF static library case, can I say printf function definition is present in that? Is that point is clear? Is that point is clear? Now the question arises, sir, how can I prove it? Now the question arises, sir, how can I show that printf function definition is there or not? So very simple. There is one command called nm command. Till now, what are the commands I discussed? One is LDD, one is size. Will you agree? One is LDD, one is size. One more thing I need to ask you. All of you are having a material with you, physical copy. All of you are having the Linux material with you, physical copy. So those who are having S, you can open the physical notes and you can follow it. Those who are having the no, so I'm going to share this thing. Is it clear? Those who are not having the physical copy of Linux, so what is, I'm going to share this. It's clear? And if possible, if you are present in a Bangalore, if possible, you can collect in the front office. Those who are said no, So if possible, otherwise you can follow this. Are you talking? All of you are observing LDD command. All of you are observing. All the things are whatever I'm discussing here very systematically. So again, I need to tell you, if you follow this material, yes, I'll put this in a LMS. Don't worry. I'll put this in a LMS. Don't worry. If you follow this material, is enough for Linux system programming. No need to search in internet. No need to go for other there. No need to read so many other documents. Just only the follow the our Linux material. It is enough. And one more book I will tell you in future. If you download that book, if you refer that book also in future, it will help you. So LDD command. I'm talking about which command now? NM command. All of you are observing? NM command. Now observe, if I type NM ABC. In this NM ABC, in this, if you observe, I hope I can't show you up. So what I will do, NM ABC greater than temp. Do you know what is the meaning of this? NM ABC greater than temp. So what happens is, the output of this NM command will go to one file called temp file. If you don't write this, will you agree? If you don't write this, the NM command displayed on the screen. Yes, it is called output redirection. It is called output redirection. So now the NM command output is redirected to temp file. Now I'll open the temp file. In this temp file, somewhere you will observe, in this temp file, only few things are there. See, main function, observe, main function is in a text section. Printf function is undefined. All of you are observing this. Main function is present in a code section. Printf is undefined, not there. In this ABC file, printf function is not there. That is the meaning. All of you are getting this point. If it is there, you might have got some address here. So can I say here, printf function definition is not copied? In this ABC file, printf function definition is not there. Will you agree? In ABC file, will you agree, printf function definition is not there? But whereas NM DEF greater than temp1, I'll open the temp1 file. In this, printf function definition must and should be there. Will you agree? In this, printf function definition should be there. Let's say where it is. In this, printf function definition should be there. Just a minute. In this printf function definition, let's see where it is. All of you are observing this printf text section. 681 text section. So whereas there printf function definition is not there. So this is one of the small proof that if a linker is linking with a static library, linker will copy the function definitions which we are calling in our source code. If linker is linking with a dynamic library, it will not copy the function definitions in our source code. Is it clear? If the linker is linking with a static library, linker will not copy the function definitions, will copy the function definitions into that executable file. If linker will link with a dynamic library, it will not copy into the text. You may get a doubt, sir, why should I create a library? We are discussing about a library, well and good. Why should I create a library? Answer is very simple. By creating the library, you can make your function available for everyone. Again, by creating the library, you can make your function available for everyone. Anybody can call your function, can use your function for their requirement, but they cannot see your code. Again, why we need to create a library? One is putting everything together. Suppose you are implementing a big project, thousands of functions are there. So what is a better option? All the functions, you put it in the library. Second thing is, another benefit of creating the library is you are making your function to be available for everyone. What is the meaning of that? Try to understand. What is the meaning of that? Try to understand. Just example. Observe, there are in your company, there are two teams are there. Team 1, team 2. Try to understand. Theory point. Just a story point. There are two teams are there. Team 1 and team 2. And surprisingly, you are not present in these two teams. You are not a member of these two teams. You are the separate person. For you, the task is, there is one, what is it? Your task is, there is one sensor. You need to design some functions related to, this sensor, interface functions. All of you are getting the point? Now tell me, how many teams are there? How many teams are there? Team 1 is doing on the project 1. Team 2 is working on the project 2. But you are not the member of team 1. You are not the member of team 2. You are a separate person. Your job is to design a functions related to the sensor. Up to this point is clear? Type C in the chat box. You are not a team 1 member. You are not a team 2 member. You are a separate team. You are a separate person. You are not in these two projects. You are a separate. Your job is to design a drivers or to design interface functions to communicate with this sensor. So surprisingly, this sensor is used in this project also. This sensor is used in this project also. This sensor is used in a project 1 and this sensor is used in a project 2. So what you need to do? You need to design a library. All the function definitions you need to put which is related to these sensors, and you need to inform them. If you want, you can call that function so that it will fulfill your requirement. Can I say, when you create a library, sensor drivers, anything, if you create a library and if you put in a lib directory or somewhere, so in this team 1 members also call your functions, team 2 members also call your functions because they are using the same sensor in their project, same device in their project. They can call you your designed functions. They can fulfill their requirement. My question is, can they see your source code? Can they open the library? Can they see your source code? Answer is no. Library is a pre-compiled code. Will you agree? They cannot see your source code. Just they will call your designed functions and they can fulfill their requirement in their project. How many of you understood this? Type 2 in the chat box. How many of you understood this? Type 2 in the chat box. So library is nothing but you are putting your functions at one particular place and you are making available that functions to everybody. They can call your functions. They can utilize your functions for their requirement, but they cannot see your function definitions because it is a library. It is a pre-compiled code. So any doubt in this, you can ask it. Any doubt in this, you can ask it. So one benefit of library is, yes, putting all the declaration S1, BE8 S1, it is correct. How you are putting all the declarations in a header file? Similarly, you need to put all the definitions in a library so that anybody can call. Will you agree? When you are writing the C program, you can call a printf, you can call a scanf. When I am writing the C program, I can call a printf, I can call a scanf. So can I say that functions are available for everyone? Any C programmer can call and fulfill their requirement. You can call malloc, I can call malloc. You can call strlen, I can call strlen. But tell me, if I designed one function in my system, can you call that function? Can you tell me, if I designed one function separately, if I don't put in my library, so can you call that? Answer is no. So when you are designing your own libraries, you need to design header files also, because all the declarations you need to put it in the header files. Again, when you are designing your own libraries, you need to create your own header files also. Is it clear? One of the student asked. So, sir, one of the student is asking, sir, in dynamic references are copied, means what is this copied actually? References means some information where it is present, it is copied, not that content is copied. S7, BE9, S7, try to understand. In a dynamic library case, in that executable file, some references are copied. References means where it is present is copied, in which library it is present is copied, but the definition is not copied. S7, got the point? S7, got the point? Where the definitions are there, that information is copied, not the definitions are copied. Is it clear? Okay. So today, I hope you got what is the difference between the static library, dynamic library. Some points also you got, some commands also, I hope you got it. So try to refer that. And today my job is, I need to upload this file. Just a minute. I need to upload this file, whatever I just written it. Apart from that, I need to put this also. Is it? Tomorrow we'll discuss how to create our own static library. Tomorrow we'll discuss how to creating a library, our own creating static library, how to create a dynamic library, how to compile and link with our own static library, how to compile and link with our own static library, a dynamic library. All the discussion we'll do it in a tomorrow's session. Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear to everyone? Okay. So I'm going to wind up the today's session. It's clear? Thank you very much for attending it. Thank you very much for attending the session. Just